on your interim, there are 15 questions total. 15 questions total. You will have an hour to take it. Okay. So 15 questions, an hour to take it. Here's the breakdown though. There's 12 multiple choice, 2 multi-select. So it's kind of like select all or select the inline response, something like that. And then there's one where you actually have to type out an answer. Here's my best guess. Here's my best guess. On this constructor response, I'm thinking it's going to probably be a like write the equation of an exponential. That's what it's probably going to be. But I can't like guarantee that. Now, they tell us what the AKS are, but they don't tell us anything else with it. Okay, so for instance, this entire interim is going to be about exponential functions. So that is creating an exponential function that represents a situation. So like writing an equation, interpreting what each part means. So knowing what the initial is, knowing what the rate is. Okay. Being able to solve using that equation. And then talking about exponential growth and decay, being able to graph and analyze key features, solving, and then transformations. Okay, so again, that's unit 5A plus unit 5B, and then being able to compare two functions. Okay, so this is what we did on the last test plus the one that we did before that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the common misconceptions on this last quizzes that we did. Okay, so let's look at our most missed questions. Okay, so what function best fits the data in the table? What function best fits the data in the table? So each time, are we adding something or are we subtracting something? Okay, so subtracting what? So if I did, okay, so 16, if I did 16,500 subtract 13,200, what do I get? Okay, is that same number on this next one? Okay, so it's not linear. Okay, now let's go ahead and find that first difference again. So what's 13,200 minus 10,560?
What? 2,680 or 2,640.
Okay, so it matters. So we got to make sure it's right? We can't do a rough estimate. So we got 13,200 minus 10,560. That's going to be 2,640.
I got that's right.
You were close. Yeah, there you go. All right, what about the next one? 10,560 minus 8,448. Okay, 8,408. I can't get that number right. Say it out loud. 6,758. Okay, not linear because they're not all the same. If we found the second difference, though, we get 660 on the first one. $528 on the second one. Already we see that this is not the same, right? So it's not going to be quadratic. So what is it going to be? Okay. All right, which of the following on your mastery check, a lot of you got this question wrong. And I was real surprised. I had people asking me, what is a y-intercept? That makes my heart hurt. So let's have that conversation. So y-intercept is when you plug in x equals 0. What is your y value? Okay. Here's another thing that kind of bothers me. Only 38 seconds were spent on this question.
Yeah.
Which
Wait, is that a bad word?
So what's going to happen is we're going to plug in a 0 in for all of our x's and see what we get out. So if I plug in a 0 in here, I would get 5 times 8 raised to the 0 power, which would give me 5. Over here, if I plug in 0, I'm going to get 0 squared minus 5 times 0 plus 4 equals -3. This doesn't have a y value, like it doesn't have a y equals. But if we simplify this, this is going to give me 4 equals -3, which this doesn't even make sense. We're getting there. Then we're going to plug in 0 in for here. We got -4 times 0 plus 8 times y equals 16. If we simplify this, this is going to give me 0 plus 8y equals 16. We want 16 to be the other side. That's -16. We're going to move that 8y to the other side, which will be -8y. Divide by -8. That'll give me -2. So on the next one, we're going to get y equals 4. So is 5, -2, or 4 the biggest? 5, -2, or 4? Okay, 5. We should have been in that one. You thought it was C? But that gives us -2 when we plug in. But it wants us to have the largest one. Okay. All right. So I take back my statement. Over here, if we would have moved this 3 to the other side, we would have gotten 7. And so that y-intercept would have been 7 here. So this one would have been the correct one. I apologize. So it should have been this one. If we move that to the other side already without having to plug in 0, we can see that that's our y-intercept anyways. Okay, so again, go ahead and join this one. Have this kind of memorized in your head. So, for instance, if I have something like this, okay, this is going to be my stretch or shrink. This is going to move me left or right. This is going to move up or down. Okay, now if there's a negative out front, that's the reflection across the x-axis. So looking at this, we have a negative out front and we got a 2 out here. So that means that this guy is going to go up 2 and reflect across the x-axis. Everybody see where I got that from? Okay, you have to have this little like diagram kind of just ingrained in your brain. Okay. All right. Let these be the easy questions, please. Okay. On this one, suppose a culture of bacteria begins with 5,000 cells and dies by 30% each year. Write an equation that represents this. So how much do we start with? It's 5,000. Okay, and we're dying by 30% each year. So 1 minus 0.3. Why did I put 0.3? Well, I took 30% and moved it 2 decimal places over. Okay, so that's going to give me this guy up here. Oh, well, it was the first one. 0.7. With that diagram, we have this. Whatever your K value is, that's the asymptote. So what's the number chilling out here on the outside? So it should be 2. Everybody okay on that? Okay. All right, let's do a different one. I think we need a little bit of work on key features. What y'all think? Judge me. Thanks, guys. Actually, solving with the same base. Let's practice a little bit on this because we just took a, you've seen it. Okay, so again, you can use your Desmos calculator to do this, but let's say you're doing an error analysis type problem. Okay, so you would have to know the steps. So if I have this, I would say what the 2 to what power would give me 8? 2 to what power would give me 8? 3, right? Okay, so now since we have the same base, we can set the exponents equal to each other and we can solve. So I can subtract 7. I can divide by 5. This will give me x equals -4 fifths. Everybody okay on this? Okay, so again, I have to have the same base. So I have to have 2 to the some power to get me 8. Well, 2 to the third would give me that. And now I can solve just setting the exponents equal to each other. Okay? Don't let these be the ones that you get wrong. Okay? So recursive formula. This is something that y'all goofed up on your mastery check. Okay. So on recursive formula, this is the recursive formula that's given to you. All you have to do is figure out your rate and your initial value. So what's your initial value here? Okay, so you're going to type -1 in there. For your R, it's what you're multiplying by each time. So what are we multiplying by? 3. So we're going to plug in a 3 here. So which one of these does that work for? That one. Recursive formula is not designed to be difficult. You have to know what you're plugging in. It's just your R and your A sub 1. On the next one, Daisy received $2 on her first birthday. Each year, the amount of money she received tripled. How much did she receive on her 5th birthday? So how much did she start with? So she received $2 on her first birthday. And then how much are we going up by? 3. And then we're going to say x minus 1 as our exponent. So then we're going to plug in 5 for x. Okay, and what does that give us? 416. Is that what it is? Oh, no. So that's going to give us 3 times 3 times 3 times 2. That gives us 162. Okay, questions over that? Okay, so I posed this problem. Let's kind of talk through answers. I want not only answer, but like, how did you go through that thought process? Okay, but first, just tell me the number that you got. Nobody say a word. We're just trying to figure this out together. Michael, what'd you get? Okay. Anybody get anything else? Nobody got anything else. You got 900. Everybody got 900? Fantastic. Okay. So now defend that answer. How did you get to 900? Oh. Okay, Sebastian.
First, I'm gonna type 2 times 5 and then 2 times 7.
Okay, wait, pause. 2 times 5 and then 2 times 7. Okay.
And then 1 times 5 and 1 times 6. But the polarity, or did that, I'll put a 0. And then, yeah, I'll put that there, and then I type it into
Okay, so you did 2 times 5, which is 10. 2 times 7, which is 14. 1 times 7, which is 7. 1 times 5, which is 5. Now what?
Oh, well, I did it like 75 over 12, and then yeah,
Oh, okay. So you said 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 7 is 14. Did you add that 1?
Yeah.
Okay. And then 1 times 5 and 1 times 7. And then he added it together, right? Okay. How many of y'all did that? Okay, cool. All right. Any other answers? Any other strategies? Yeah. You did it with the 12 on top. So you did 12 on top, 75 here. Okay. And then you still got 900, right? Okay. Anybody else do it differently? Malik? Okay. Okay. So let's think about this. Malik just brought up a good point. Ready? He says 75 times 3 Malik, why did you do 75 times 3? That's a multiple of 12. Okay. A factor of 12. There you go. Okay, now why did you do the add 225? Okay. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so he said times 3 times 2 times 2, and that gives you 12. Oh my gosh, never thought of that. Okay, anybody else?
You can also cross check within that and design what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. What I did was I did 10 times 75, and that gave me 750. And then I did 2 times 75, which gave me 150, and then I added those two together. So that's what I did. Okay. What'd y'all get for your answer? 40.4. What else? We're not judging. We're giving answers. What did you get? You got 9 point what? 9.2. What else did you get? 5. Okay. What? 24. What else did we get? 17.6. What else did we get? What else did we get? Anisa, what'd you get? Okay. What else did we get? Okay, so notice how we all got different answers. So let's kind of talk through strategy. Okay. When we do percentages, okay, if I say something like this, if I say 1 is 25% of 4, how do I know that? Say it again. What did you say? Michael, the judgment is not working. What'd you get? Hey, I can't hear. Go ahead. A 1 is 25% of 4. How do we get that? It's a what? It's a quarter of it. Okay, so we know, if I don't quit talking. Okay, that's okay. We know that 1/4 is 25 cents. That's why we know that it's 25%. But why do we know that? Is that just because we've been told that forever?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really a fraction. Watch this. 1 out of 4. When we have 1 out of 4, what we're doing is we're saying 4 and dividing it by 1, right? Then your teacher back in 3rd grade said, bring up this decimal, add a 0 here, and said, what times 4 would give us 10? So when we do this, we say, what times 4 would give us 10? That would be 2. 2 times 4 would give us 8. We're going to subtract, which is 2. Add another 0 and bring it down. What times 4 would give me 20? 5. Okay, and we would have a remainder of 0. Again, that's throwback to 3rd grade. Okay, the same concept could happen with this one over here. However, supposed if we took 19.2 divided by 120, I don't know that off the top of my head, and let's say I'm not very good at like the division, but I do know that 19.2 is close to 20, right? Yes. Okay, and if I have groups of 20 and I want it to add up to be 120, I would have 6 groups, right? And 20 out of the 120 would be 1 out of the 6 groups, correct? Well, I can do that division now. 1, we're dividing 6 by it. We're going to add the decimal place, add the 0. What times 6 would give us 10? It would be 1. We would get, what times 6 would give us 40? 6 times 6 would give us 36, and that would repeat. It would be 16% of 120. Okay. Again, I did a rough estimate on this one. However, if you type 19.2 divided by 120 into your calculator, you're going to get 0.16. Okay. I want to be able to give you the entire time. Be on time tomorrow because we need to take that interim. Don't miss tomorrow because trying to make all of that up is just too much work. I'm going to post these quizzes on your Google Classroom so that you can practice. Okay. I'm also going to post this document that tells you all the different AKS. I tried to put some practice problems in here as well. I didn't get all of them done just because there's a lot that it could cover. Remember, there's 15 questions on test, multiple choice, multi-select, and that constructed response. Okay. Use your Desmos, but I can't tell you things once you're on the test. Okay. All right.